Hey everybody, what is up? So here it is. The review that I wanted to do last year, but because of all the shit that happened, and yes, I said that word because that's basically what it was, never got done. And, so here's the deal. Back in November 2001, a game came out for the Game Boy Advance that basically changed, my life in terms of playing role-playing games. In the past, I'd only played them on the PC. It was the TSR, Forgotten Realms, D&D, Dungeons and Dragons games, basically. And they weren't all that great. The graphics were kind of stick figure-ish. If you've ever played like Eye of the Beholder for the Game Boy Advance, that stays true to those formats. But the interesting thing about the games that I'm going to be talking about is this one series. There was actually a break for a long time before this one came out. Excuse me. And that series, of course, is Golden Sun, Golden Sun 1, Golden Sun 2, The Lost Ages, and then the third game in the series, which actually came out for the Nintendo DS, which is Golden Sun Dark Dawn. Now, originally, bear in mind, please, that I'm having to read from some notes. There's just a lot that I want to talk about. I'm actually going to separate this probably into two videos, depending on where my time is. I'm going to talk, first of all, I kind of like to cover a little bit of history of the game, talk a little bit about it. The first Golden Sun game does follow four characters: Isaac, Garrett, Ivan, and I think it's Maya? Yeah, that's how I've always pronounced it. Who are basically after the antagonist of the game, Satiros, and I've never been able to pronounce this. Minardia? It's really one of those weird names, but those two are basically set out to unleash the power of alchemy on the world. And one of the things that right away that doesn't make sense is what was about alchemy that was so dangerous? Why did they have it locked up? But basically, in the world of Weird, once again, one of those things I'm never sure how to pronounce, there are actually four elemental lighthouses, which once they're all lit, would help unleash the power of alchemy on the world. I'm not going to give any spoilers to the game, but basically, this does actually help stage the world for the second part of the game. For the second game, The Lost Age, basically follows a group of new characters: Felix, Jenna, Sheba, and along the way you meet an ally named Piers, who basically has a ship. Now, one of the cool things about the ship that he lets you use is that you can go to places that in the first game you wouldn't. There's a lot that's open. The great thing is, at the end of the game, you can actually go back and you can go to areas that you weren't able to explore during the course of the game. It's kind of fun to actually do that. It's kind of a little bit of a pet peeve of mine when games like will end, then they'll have new stuff. And I'll get to something that really bugs me actually here in a minute about this. Now, the second game is pretty much following the end of the first game, and you actually go up against two new characters, Agita, and Karst, who are actually out against one of the allies from the first game, Isaac. It's really hard not to talk about some of this stuff as a result of kind of giving spoilers. The third game actually centers around a couple of the characters' kids. You actually play one of them. You can name yourself. And in Dark Sun, basically, it's the story goes that you have to go get a feather to fix these. I want to say they're like these wings that are specially made that allow for you to fly. The children of warriors from the first two games, Matthew and Tyrell, as well as Karis, the daughter, the one of the people, it's actually called the Surwing. And you're trying to get to what's called the Soul Sanctum, and that basically has more information about alchemy in it. It's a little bit odd. One of the things that they do in the games is they do use different devices to go through the stories, and in each one there's certain areas that are locked. So like from the first game, when you go in the second game, you're not always going to the same lane, so it's discovering more of the world. At the end of each of the games, especially with the third one, you go into, with the second and third one, you go into these different places that were previously unknown, because what they do is they actually have what are called psi energy. Psi energy basically is, each of the characters is called an adept. You control wind, earth, fire, water, the four elements, and you can like find new powers. Another way that you can actually gain new abilities is through creatures called Jinn. And I'll get to them in a minute. With the Jinn, basically, depending on how you arrange them with each of the characters, really depends on like the different types of abilities you can have. But also, one of the cool things about it though is the Jinn basically are in all three games, and they're actually my favorite part of the entire series. What is it about them that I love the most? Well, one of the interesting things, not only do they help you gain the abilities, but the Jinn also have the ability to give you what are called summons. Now, summons can either be found in hidden areas. You can gain them in a couple through battles. They're really useful when fighting bosses and extremely hard enemies. What I love about the Jinn is that they're not all the same. I mean, you do have the earth, wind, fire, water mentality part of it, but some will like come to you, some you have to fight. So it's a mixture, and especially learning how each one can help boost your powers is a really great thing. Some Jinn, of course, you can't get right away because you may have to know a certain ability, basically, psi energy, to really go in and actually get to them. The battles with them are not bad. I would, with these, if you ever play the games, I would really recommend using summons, especially because of the fact that really they are beneficial. Now, with a summon, let me explain how this works. Once you summon a creature to attack for you, what ends up happening is the Jinn is not available to be used for so many turns. But one of the great things about the Jinn as well is, during battle, they can lend different abilities to you. Like, they can heal the group, they can attack. So there's a lot to these guys. I mean, this is what makes them so awesome and really makes them my favorite part of the game. It's just that they do so much that you're sitting there going, holy crap. They really, for me, they really are what made the game overall. Just fantastic little guys. Yeah, I love having them around, and it's just great. Now, one question does come up, of course, in the game, do you have classes? Well, In all honesty, I think if I remember correctly, really the only one that has like any form of classes really is actually the Lost Age. That's pretty much it. What you really set it for is what your adept is set to power wise. Because each one really has the different abilities. Some you have a group of people that may have a couple water, a couple earth, a couple fire. Sorry, got a message. Um, so yeah. Um, Sorry, I was saying a lot, and I was trying to stop myself from doing that. I got sidetracked. So yeah, definitely these three games are really worth checking out. The only actual problem that I would probably say that I have with the games overall really comes down to, like I said, the last part where you get to explore at the end. And especially if you don't do something right in one part of the game, later on it might affect how you're able to continue the game and deal with things. So that's really a big part of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end right here, and the next video is really going to be about my take on the games and just with how dealing with the rest of them works. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Take care, and I appreciate watching.